This one is what we call a premises liability case. And this is a client who was renting an apartment in a garden apartment complex, right? So there's hundreds of apartments, and they have a common hallway, and they have a common staircase outside. And my client, he's up early in the morning to go to a job, and he walks out of the stairs, and he's walking down the right side of the stairs. He gets down to the bottom step, steps onto the cement, the whole thing crumbles. The brick crumbles, the cement crumbles, and he goes down. Immediately, he knows that something's wrong with his shoulder, right? He gets torn as he goes around. He's got neck complaints and lower back complaints, and his leg is bothering him, and he fell on his face, and he had a cut. Our client went into an MRIs for his neck and his back and his shoulder, and he had pathology, he had injuries to all of them. And so with the shoulder, he had a tear, torn labrum, and he ultimately did undergo surgery for his shoulder. And then with the spine, he wound up having surgery with a really, really good spine surgeon out of Englewood. In the law with these premises liability cases, you have to prove that they either knew about it, which we call actual notice, and they didn't do anything about it and chose to ignore it, or that they could have found out about it, which we call constructive notice, with sort of diligently inspecting the property. But there's an exception to those, which is if you caused the condition through your actions, you're responsible for it. Liability in these types of cases already happened, right? The person already fell, right? So you're looking backwards at that, right? How did we get to this point? Our normal investigation is to send out an investigator. We noticed that there was a circle of newer cement around the bottom handrail. What we came to find out in discovery with depositions and with record requests and things like that was that a couple of weeks before, they did have a loose handrail. And instead of hiring someone, a mason or someone who knows how to do that, the handyman, who just changes light bulbs and sweeps the leaves, went in there with a chisel and a hammer and was banging there to get rid of all this surrounding pieces of cement that had broken up with the handrail, and then sort of filled it in with cement. And what he ultimately wound up doing was weakening the brick underneath it. And ultimately it was just a ticking time bomb. And our client stepped on the stair and it collapsed and he went down. This was not a perfect case. It came in and we had issues with the liability up front. We ultimately resolved them. The client was an issue. He was a man who was used to working hard, getting up every single day and going to work, a physical guy. You take that away from someone who spent their whole life working, it has a real psychological effect. People are not built to stay home and do nothing and feel hurt every single day. And so managing him and managing his expectations of how fast he could feel better, the long road of litigation and the long road of being able to get the treatment that you need, and then ultimately getting the right amount. Getting to know any of my clients as who they are takes them out of being a claim number, which is what the insurance company wants you to be. They want you to be 54L27, so they don't have to think that there's a person on the other side who's actually suffering. I want you to be the mom who can't take care of her kids, or the person who loved to ski, or the electrician who can't work, so that when the defense attorney and the insurance company is thinking about that case, when they see it and they see what we've shown them and what we've been able to get through discovery, you're a person. And I think making it personal that way is always what sticks with me with my clients, and what I think is just part of that, part of the sauce on how we do better for our clients.